My name is Toni Rothbart. I've been working in the fast-paced world of live corporate events for over 10 years, creating and building experiences for internal and external marketing campaigns for a number of corporates, non-profits and industry bodies. I started to feel a lot of frustration around the money-heavy wastefulness surrounding the industry, and so I started to figure out how I could use what I knew to make a difference in the world. I met my business partner, Carlo Gibson, in early 2021. He's a fashion designer, notably connected to the brands Strangelove and Clipper Denim, and a social innovator. He too had started to see the gaps in consumption and longevity in his industry and started focusing not just on making beautiful things, but on how to give back using his skills and gifts. The first months of the COVID crisis were especially instrumental in both of our thinking. Carlo began to make and distribute masks and created bespoke, usable and functional scrubs for ICU nurses, and through crowdfunding managed to distribute hundreds of these around Johannesburg. But as the situation deepened, we both became increasingly aware of larger needs in our society, and it was not something we felt comfortable with. We had skills, we had years of experience, and we both had a heartfelt passion for South Africa and figured by collaborating we could make a difference in the world around us. We've always understood and been guided by the power of the solutionist thinking of the maker. And so we created a model where we work together, harnessing our collaborators' honed skills and capabilities, their expertise and passion for what they do, to be a part of something sustainable. We all have our areas of expertise, and together we learn new things and new ways of doing things that strengthens each of our own baselines. And so we started Make Good, a non-profit company built around identifying societal needs, and through the skills, support and know-how of artisans and makers, we use design thinking to develop and create innovative solutions to make people's lives better, while simultaneously supporting small South African businesses in the creative sector. By connecting communities, creative brains and sourcing funding, we hope we can build a sustainable way to help people and make good. The Homeless Home Project was our launch initiative, a fashion designer-led initiative. The idea was to figure out a way to use what displaced communities had around them to help keep them warm in an easy, transportable way. And so we created an item of wearable bedding, a lightweight jacket designed to transform into a sleeping bag and easily slung over the shoulder as a carry bag. The design has pouches which can be stuffed with found or recyclable items like newspaper or cardboard to help insulate the jacket and provide padding. It also has some pockets that allow the wearer to carry their most important possessions with them. The garment has been created with a durable and strong fabric that can withstand the elements, and it is wind and waterproof. But we also acknowledge that we have no idea what it's like to be homeless. And so we challenged our assumptions, not just by observing, but by engaging the end user, in this case the recyclers and the homeless community, in an iterative process of design, by understanding their experiences, their needs, the difficulties they experience in their environments, and including them in the creative process, and how our skills can help answer to that. It helps to reframe the design by understanding the actual problems that need to be solved. We also engaged with the fine arts students at the University of Johannesburg, who helped us prototype and test the garment by conducting interviews focused on end-user experience and feedback, and we continue to refine the garment to be better suited to the people who will be ultimately using it. With the students, we embarked on a qualitative research project called Photo Voice, providing our users with cameras to help tell the stories in the world in which they live. We identified the growing number of displaced people around the city who are most vulnerable in harsh and increasingly unpredictable weather conditions as our initial target recipients, but realized as this project has grown that with the increasing and deepening issues surrounding the crisis we are facing globally in terms of climate change, that more and more people are becoming displaced due to natural disasters and conflict. And the intention is to try get more of these items out into these communities in need. Sustainability has three main pillars: economic, environmental and social, more informally referred to as people, planet and profits. By incorporating the end user in the design to maximize its benefit, we encompass people. The design itself focuses on zero waste patterns, keeping the garment simple and deliberate in its manufacture with as little waste as possible. The design intent and aesthetic is for functionality and durability in harsh environments and support for displaced communities. by using what recyclers and the homeless have available to them, like cloth, newspaper, or cardboard, to insulate and provide comfort. Although the garments are durable and are unlikely to need replacement, which means they stay in use for functional durability, we are not yet in a position where we've solved the ecological impact of the materials we use. There is still much to be done in our manufacturing, but also in the industry, to keep price points low as social contribution objects. We still research the availability of affordable and durable recycled fabrics, but it's a fine balance. The nature of seasonal fashion and textile production means that the textile industry contributes hugely to the climate crisis. But until manufacturers and growers are forced to consider the environmental costs, products that do less damage will cost more. And so we as consumers must dictate demand. People switching from natural to synthetic fibers isn't the only challenge, but convincing consumers to pay more for environmentally sustainable items is a big factor. We also identified many other shortfalls in the project, the least of which was the lack of sustainability in our approach, in only providing a singular item of comfort and reprieve from the elements. And this project has begun to evolve through our burgeoning partnership with a non-profit organization called Capesa into the manufacture and distribution supply chain. Capesa is a non-profit organization based in Soweto, focused on uplifting and empowering women who are victims of gender-based violence. They have sought to empower women by co-creating a sewing group called the Women of Worth, who formed the nucleus of our partnership with them, intended to help women to break free of the cycle of dependence, report and leave abusive relationships. The program will include training for skills development, including sewing, financial literacy, marketing, and importantly, access to psychosocial support. There's a subset target market within the homeless community who could be victims of gender-based violence that can also gain access to the program as a whole. Therein, there is an intersection in gender-based violence and homelessness. By providing homeless women with possible reintegration pathways into normal society through counseling skills, development, employability, and income. Proudly, this collaboration is a shortlisted finalist for the 2022 SAB Social Innovation Awards. We are all about collaborations and believe the more creative brains get together and create solutions, the more we can accomplish. And we know now that our baseline process works and that we can make things happen if the intention is set. Our responsibilities are first and foremost to each other in the understanding that what we deplete affects those around us, who are then subject to further limitations. It is in this way we can end up tackling social issues together. With Make Good's inaugural project, we learned many things, but the primary learning was that we must just jump in and get things done. We started Make Good and the Homeless Home Project over a cup of coffee and an idea, and within 6 months we had set up a company, started crowdfunding, and manufactured and distributed almost 600 units around South Africa. There were many flaws in our initial processes, but we refined these as we went along, and we didn't waste time in the early days trying to get it right the first time around. The point was to start with intention. Getting the jackets out onto the streets before winter hit was the intention, and the rest has refined and grown from there, and continues to grow. And we are always on the search for more collaborations and more ways to combine our talents with the big brains and hearts around us and continue to make good.